Bonjour. Bonjour les amis. Aren't I lucky today? First I get a stroll. I take a stroll with my friend Lily Hayes of Je t'aime me neither in the beautiful Palais Royal. And then I get to enjoy another beautiful Parisian park. Salut cousin. Bonjour Rose. Bonjour Barnsey. Bonjour all our friends. It is a beautiful day. Low 70s or so. Bonjour, bienvenue les amis. This is Véro reporting from Paris, where I am back after about 4 weeks on the road, out on French roads. It's nice to be back, to enjoy what's left of this beautiful summer. Yes, the weather's been hit and miss the last few days, but looks like right now we're having sun, so we'll take it. Recognize the famous fur mob chairs that you find here in this beautiful park and on the left bank at the Luxembourg Gardens. I used to own 2 of these. I sold them before I left Seattle. That person got a screaming deal. If she's watching me now, I hope she's enjoying my chairs. So we are, I'm sure you've recognized the garden where I am now, in the Tuileries Gardens. It's not crowded. No big tourist crowds this summer, but it's not empty either. In fact, it looks just right to me. I may want to put on my sunglasses. The problem at the Tuileries is you can only get so much shade. If you want to go where the action is, you have to step in the sun, and it's pretty bright. This is totally unplanned. Bonjour, bonjour, bienvenue. I happen to have lunch with a friend of mine, the lovely Lily Hayes of Je t'aime me neither. And then we walked through the Palais Royal, and she did a little live stream for her followers. But I had to come to the Louvre, or more specifically to the Carousel du Louvre, that gallery that's under the Louvre, to find something that I use every day that I lost during my trip and that I've been missing since. So I found what I was looking for. That's the reason I came out here. Then I stepped outside and I thought, why rush back to get back to work? How about enjoying the Tuileries Gardens? And then I sat down by this beautiful little pond. That was my chair over there. And I thought, well, maybe my friends would like to join in. So here we are. Here's a popular statue. See the birds? I'm a bit hesitant to leave the shade because then I won't be able to see your comments as they scroll by, but that's okay. I guess you'd like to see a little bit more, so I'll do that for you. Hope the connection's good. As I said, this was a bit unplanned, so I didn't check first. So this is Paris at its most majestic and grandiose and elegant. I think most of you would agree with that. This is not intimate Paris. These gardens were not built to be discreet. You see the obelisk in the distance? It's amazing how it's all built in a straight line, really. From where I stand, I can see the obelisk at Place de la Concorde, then the Champs-Élysées, the Arc de Triomphe, and across the Seine River from us, in the distance, I can see the Défense, the business district. Really incredible how they all built that. The sense of perspective. By now, most visitors we had this summer, mostly from Europe, are gone or on the way out. So most of the people you see here are probably locals. Kids went back to school this week. I'm not going to be able to see what your comments here, so I'll take a peek a little later. Just too bright. I like how the trees are turning a little bit. It's not fall yet, but you can see they're partly green. It's been really hot this summer. And you can see here on the right-hand side how they're turning already. Thank you for confirming the connection's good. Merci, monsieur. What I like, I was pleasantly surprised when I arrived a few minutes ago, is how lush the flower beds still are. I was expecting them to be really dry after the hot summer we've had, but everything looks really good still. I think you will agree. There's a lot of color. You see? It's very nice, isn't it? And of course, I like how in a lot of those, in chateaus in France, as you travel around France, as I've just done, you see a lot of signs like this. They try to always be very didactic, and they tell you that here, for what is known as Le Grand Carré, which is this section, the big square, and the central alleyway, l'allée centrale, they tell you the name of the flowers they planted, so that if you are a gardener, you can enjoy this even more. And as I raise my phone, you recognize this building ahead of us, this magnificent building, now a museum, le Louvre. Bonjour, if you've just joined us, this is Véronique, Véro. I am a Paris-based tour guide and a travel blogger. I've just returned to Paris after several weeks traveling around France, and I know some of you, a lot of you actually, have followed my adventures. Thank you for that. It's good to be home and to get to enjoy Paris before fall and winter weather arrive, because they will. Very Parisian site here with those rooftops. There's a wasp bugging me. We've had wasps. Yeah, I think we have a wasp issue this year. I've been seeing a lot of wasps wherever I've done, and earlier with Lily, they were bugging us over lunch as well. I don't like to pick fights with wasps. They usually win. Yeah, like I was saying, I think those flower beds are really, really looking good still, in spite of the heat. I don't know if you joined me on Monday when I was in my neck of the woods, of the Parisian woods in Vincennes. I took you to the Square Carnot, a small garden where the flower beds were also spectacular. So this is definitely a Parisian garden type of week. Who's going to complain? No one, I think. Now you probably know this is one of the Parisians' favorite parks or gardens. It has been for centuries. On the left bank you have the Luxembourg Garden, but on the right bank the Tuileries Gardens is really their favorite park. It's very centrally located, so that explains why. Easy to get to, very flat. There are other great parks in Paris which you know, like Les Buttes Chaumont, but you have to get out there to get to them. This one is easy. Metro Line 1, lots of buses will bring you here. Boy, it's hot. I'm wearing a jacket. This morning was not that warm. Low 70s is my guess, maybe mid 70s. So here's what you do in the Tuileries Gardens or in the Luxembourg Gardens, for that matter. You get a chair, one of these firm-up chairs I pointed out earlier. You sit down, you read, you play on Instagram, you look at the water fountains, you take a nap. If you have young children, you are well advised to go to the other side of this, where I'm going to take you. You rent them. You rent one of these little boats, you see, the sailboats, unsinkable. And you sit on the chairs as your kids will run around, pushing off the boats with a large stick. And kids have been doing this here in the Tuileries Gardens since the 19th century. My son did this as a child pretty much every summer. Great exercise for the kids, great fun, and the parents can relax a little bit. This lady is holding the stick to push off the boat, which is over there. They usually circle around and they'll come back to the edge of the pond. It takes a while sometimes, so the kids have to be patient. Here's a really nice view of the Louvre. Bonjour, if you've just joined us, this is Véronique Véro in the Tuileries Gardens in Paris on a gorgeous late summer day. And she is burning up. Wearing in marinière with long sleeves, a sailor shirt, and a linen jacket. Yes, well done, Véro. Here are the sailboats. You can see it's €4 for 30 minutes. And it says depuis 1850, since 1850. On top of those hedges over there, you see Mademoiselle Eiffel, the Eiffel Tower. Do you see her? The Orsay Museum is on the other side across the Seine River from us on the left bank. More beautiful gardens. Now the reason these gardens are so pretty is because very often at the Tuileries you are not allowed to step on the grass. It's always been the case. And so the grass tends to look better than in other parks and gardens. It's hard for visitors to understand that sometimes. They don't understand why parks can be enjoyed. why you have to have a picnic on a bench or on a chair when you could be out in the grass. It's a local tradition. In fact, there used to be gentlemen who worked the parks in Paris, les squares, the smaller gardens. They had a whistle and they would watch. And if you stepped on the grass, if you jumped over this and stepped on the grass, you or your kids would get in trouble. This is part of life in Paris. Fortunately, the current mayor has, I think, spread the word that she would like parks to be more accessible, because a lot of gardens now, including the Luxembourg gardens, have areas where people can use the grass. Les pelouses, the lawn. Look at these flowers, guys. Beautiful. Now, when you're not supposed to go on it, there will be a sign that says pelouse interdite. Interdit, big word in French life. Prohibited. And because not everybody speaks French and it would take too much work to translate, you will often see this. And that's pretty clear, isn't it? When it's allowed, there'll be other signs saying pelouse accessible, accessible. I am now leaving the Tuileries Gardens, and I will turn around when I'm at the top of these stairs so you can get a nice view. Would you look at this? Bienvenue au Louvre, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you will see this garden again next year. I see your comments. It's been a rough year, a very unexpected year. But you will be back. And when you come back, the Tuileries Gardens will still be here. They've been here for a really long time. It was Queen Mary de' Medici who designed originally those gardens in the 16th century. But of course, several French monarchs and political leaders have made their mark on the Tuileries Gardens, including Louis XIV, the Sun King. So they look pretty different now from what they did in the 16th century, when Catherine de' Medici had this area designed. I do know it was the first garden in Paris to be open to the public. But it only became a public garden after the French Revolution. Careful, huh? The lady said to the two little kids on scooters. Careful with the gravel. It's not easy to go. Don't fall, she said. You just know they will fall anyway. And there'll be some crying, and then they will be fine. That's what kids have done here for a really long time as well. This is a beautiful view of the Louvre. I'll have to read your comments when this is over, because I really can't right now. The sun is behind me. Not trying to ignore you, as I always say. He must be hot. He took his shirt off. Glorious architecture. This used to be a royal palace before it was a museum, and it shows. This is another famous Arc de Triomphe in Paris. We have at least two that people recognize. This is l'Arc de Triomphe du Carrousel, much smaller than the other one. Yet it has seen some pretty important historical events as well. Non merci monsieur. Somebody's trying to sell me a fake watch. He obviously thinks I'm a tourist because I'm holding a phone and filming. That's a nice view. Ooh, some shade. I'm heading for the shade. And as I look back, in the distance, I cannot zoom, but in the distance, you see the obelisk standing in the middle of Place de la Concorde, and you even see, if I move slightly to the right, the Arc de Triomphe standing at the top of the Champs-Élysées. Like I said, it's all built in a straight line. I know a lot of you are sad over canceled trips and vacation. I would be too. I've tried to share everything I saw out on French roads this summer, since I traveled in July and in August around France. I know some of you got ideas for future trips. You've told me so, and I'm very happy about that. And now that I'm back in Paris, I'll continue to do this throughout the fall. Bonjour, Bob. I see your name pop up. And here we are. The Louvre just keeps going. It's a very massive complex. And the glass pyramid. Even the traffic seems lighter today. Well, granted, it's not 5 o'clock yet. As I was saying at the beginning of this broadcast, this is really monumental Paris. This Paris is kind of in your face. Those who designed it did not want it to be ignored. But the nice thing about Paris is that you also have places like the one where I was sitting earlier in the gardens, in the Tuileries gardens, where you can kind of regroup and find a little peace and quiet. And that's the magic of Paris. It's nice, I think, when you visit to balance it out between those places, like the one where I'm standing now, and village-like neighborhoods where I love to go, and just quieter places. Okay, well, I'm burning up. I need to take off this jacket of mine, and I can't do that without dropping the phone. So we're gonna need to say goodbye. If I had an assistant, I could just ask for help. I'm sorry about the canceled trips, the rescheduled travel plans, the uncertainty. Rest assured, it's also felt by all the people here in Paris and in France. We've had to cancel and reschedule plans as well, even if we are lucky, for some of us, to live in beautiful places that we can still enjoy. A lot of us have had to make lemonade with the lemons we were handed out this year. But this won't last forever. And if you can't travel in person right now, at least you can do so virtually. You know where to find me and my friends out in social media. I have a great YouTube channel. I'm far from a professional live streamer, but I have documented my travels this summer with video guided walks, live stream tours. There's plenty to look at if you want to travel around France with me still, if you head to the France with Véro YouTube channel. And I will continue to share what I see with you, as I've been doing for 9-10 years. All right, friends, this is a perfect place to wrap up. Standing in front of the Louvre. Thank you for joining me today. And I'm sure I will see you very, very soon. À bientôt!